Hello everyone, I'm so happy to have you all here with me today. Today's video is my celebration of National Scrapbook Day for 2024, and in a little while I'm going to be creating a layout with you all featuring the NSD products from Creative Memories. Now this year, the collection, it's absolutely beautiful, and I actually started creating with it about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I started making some layouts, and once I started, I just couldn't stop. And what I mean by that is I have a whole bunch of layouts that I created using this collection for my albums, and it got me thinking, I love to scrapbook. I love to fill my albums with fun layouts, and the one thing that gives me a whole bunch of joy is to be able to share with you all the instructions to recreate some of my layouts. And my hope is that you'll have the same enjoyment creating these layouts for your albums as well. So available now over on my website, papersweetpea.com. I'll link that below this video. I've put together a digital download for an instructional book, and it features some layouts that I created featuring the NSD products from Creative Memories. Now, it's a step-by-step guide. There's instructions, colored photos. I give a tool list, a supply list to create 4 single-page layouts and 2 double page layouts. And because I couldn't stop creating, I've also included instructions for a really cute project for you to create. Even though I've used tools and products from Creative Memories in the NSD theme, it doesn't mean you have to use the same thing. You can use any products that you like. You can substitute what I've worked with for any fun collections that you have on hand. When you head to my website and purchase the book, you'll notice on the Checkout Complete page a download button. It's really easy to miss this button, but it will also be emailed to you. I just wanted to mention though, at times when I have a lot of traffic to my website, that email may be a little bit slower getting to you, and I suggest checking your spam folder as well. Now I am here live with you today. You'll notice I've got a chat box open. I'd love for you to say hi and let us know where you're watching from. Feel free to ask me any questions at all. And if you stick around till the end of this video, I am going to share little snippets of the layouts that are featured in my instructional guide. But for now, I really want to have some fun and let's get creating. Now I'm going to be creating layout number 1 from my NSD guide, and it features this fun little umbrella design that you can see there. I just thought with the florals and the beautiful check patterns and the theme of the National Scrapbook Day products this year from Creative Memories, I just thought a design like this was fun and it lended itself quite well to that theme. You could document photos, seasonal photos, so spring, summer, fall, perhaps a trip to the beach, your garden, anything like that. It lends itself perfectly to any theme. I've only added 2 photos to this page, and again, you can add more if you wish. You don't have to do the exact same thing that I've done here. It's just as a guide. For me, I felt a page like this will be perfect as a title page for an album, so that's why I've only stuck to just 2 photos on my page. I've gone ahead and printed out my NSD guide, and I've got layout number 1 here. So you can see it's got my step-by-step instructions and photos. It also features the tool list and the product list of the items that I'm going to be working with for this layout. Now, I just want to make mention, whenever you see decorative items listed, in this case, I will be working with the Fresh Flower Punch and the Scalloped Heart BMC from Creative Memories. You can substitute these if you don't have the exact same one on hand. So just use any of your favorite decorative items. You don't have to stick to the exact same ones that I've worked with. But I've got my National Scrapbook Day products here. You can see how gorgeous these are. I've also got the accessory paper pack. This is an advisor exclusive product. So if you haven't got this and you would like this paper pack, do reach out to your advisor who can order this for you. And I've also got the project recipe kit, which of course comes with cardstock as well as your papers. You get the most adorable sticker sheet. And Creative Memories have also put together some instructions and a cutting guide for creating some extra layouts, which are really pretty as well. So there's so many options for being creative this year. I'll just set these to the side and we can get started. Now, to create my umbrella, I've selected a designer paper. It's this beautiful pale blue gingham, and the back is the lovely floral that has the little paw prints within the design. This paper was in the accessory paper pack, so the advisor exclusive paper pack. But again, you can use any paper that you like. You are going to be working with both sides of this paper. So the reason why I did select this paper is because you'll see here the back of the floral design, the paw prints, you know, one row they're facing up, one row they're facing down. So there was no real right or wrong way for this floral design. I'm not going to, you know, have anything upside down on my layout. And that can be very important when you're using printed papers on a layout, that when you're, you know, because we've turned, you know, two of these over to the reverse side, you want to make sure that you're not going to have anything upside down. So to begin with, we've got our paper and we're going to need our 12-inch decorative trimmer. And we're going to be working with the more wavy edge of the trimmer. And we just need to cut this paper in half at 6 inches. So I'm just going to turn that over to make sure I have got that going the right way, which I have. And we're going to cut that perfectly in half. So you're going to have two 6-inch wide pieces with the wavy edge. Now we only need 1/2. So you can use this for another project, or perhaps, you know, you're going to create a double page and make 2 umbrellas, whatever suits you, but we are only going to need the 1/2. And I'm just going to line that up on my cutting mat. I've got the straight edge at the very top there. And at the 6-inch marking at the top, I'm just taking my pencil and I'm making a very light mark there at the top, at the halfway mark. This is when I'm going to bring in my jumbo circle custom cutting template. And I do make mention on my instructions is just with your pencil to make a marking on the outside track anywhere on your template. And it's basically just to line that up to this pencil marking. I already have lots of other marks that I've done over the years with a permanent marker. So I'm just going to be working with one of those. But you do need to make sure that you've got that template lined up nice and centered on that piece of paper. And you also want to make sure that you're not going right to the very edge. I don't know if you can see that there, but I've actually left just a couple of millimeters from the very top. And that's just so I don't run my blade off the edge of the paper. And I am only talking about a few millimeters. So once you've made a marking with your pencil anywhere on that outside track, just line that up to your pencil marking. Be sure that you leave that little bit of a space at the top, and we're going to work with our red cutting blade. So let's turn that out. And we're going to be cutting from the outside track. So just hold that firmly in place. Want to make sure you've got your little nodules into that track properly. And we're just going to cut all the way around, like so. Now, in case you've done what I've done there and you've cut your pencil marking off, while you're holding that umbrella in place there, just just pop another little pencil marking there at your 6-inch marking before you move anything. I didn't draw mine down, you know, far enough, so we can get rid of this piece. And I haven't moved this piece on my cutting mat at all. We want to keep it in the same position with our pencil marking lined up with the 6-inch mark. And what we're going to do now is take our jumbo circle again, and you want to line up the outside edge of the track here with the 3-inch marking here on the left on your cutting mat. And you want to make sure that the top here, the top of the umbrella is also lined up with the outside track. So it's going to give us this lovely arc shape, a lovely curve shape. But we're lined up to 3 inches at the bottom and up to our pencil marking at the top. And once you're happy with where that's in place, again, let's pop the nodules back into that outside track, and we're going to cut down. And that gives us the first panel for our umbrella. I'm still keeping this in the same position, and if it does move, don't worry, you've got your pencil marking here, okay? So you can easily get it back into place. And this time we're going to be cutting this right side arc of our umbrella. Exact same technique, only I'm lining up the bottom edge here at the 9-inch marking on the cutting mat, but again back up to our pencil marking at the top. Okay, so 9 inches here, pencil marking at the top. Let's put our blade back into the track. And we're going to cut that outside arc like so. Now you're going to be left with your 3 panels for your umbrella. And this is where I wanted to work with both sides of the paper. I just thought it would be a nice effect, is to just flip that over, obviously, so that we can get the shape right. And that way we're going to see both prints like so on your layout. Okay, next I'm going to bring in some white cardstock, and we really don't need a lot of this. This is just for that centerpiece of the umbrella, and you're only going to need a 1/2 inch wide by a 12-inch long strip. So you can see there, it's only the smallest amount that you're going to need. So this is just really, you can use up whatever scraps you've got with your white cardstock. And I'm going to bring in my 2-way corner rounder punch, and we're just going to round the very tip of this paper. And to do that, you can see here on your 2-way corner rounder, you've got these sort of 2 little white circles here. I just want you to place that strip centered between those 2 white circles as best you can. You don't need to insert the strip all the way into the punch, really just enough so the very end disappears there into the curve. And when you've done that, you can just punch. And we're just going to ever so slightly round the top of that strip, and the base obviously you can leave straight. So that's all we need with our white cardstock. Next up, I'm going to bring in this wood grain print designer paper. This is another designer paper from the accessory paper pack for the NSD collection. And this is what we're going to create our little handle from. You don't have to use this paper. You could also just work with some hot fudge cardstock or a different tone cardstock. But I really like the wood grain finish. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the bottom edge of that paper to the 2-inch marking on my cutting mat. And I'm going to bring in the smallest circle of the custom cutting system templates. And you want to place the bottom edge of the outside track on the 1-inch marking on your cutting mat. Now we're going to be creating the handle for our umbrella. You could also use your circle cutter if you have the circle cutter. I do a little bit of freehand cutting for this handle, so I know not everybody likes to do freehand cutting, and if that's the case, then by all means use your circle cutter to cut both circles. But once you've got the bottom edge on the 1 inch line there, you can just insert those lugs of your blade into the track and cut around the outside edge, and you're going to be left with that, well, it's 2/3 of a circle, I guess you could say. And this is where I'm going to use my scissors. But basically what I want to do is I want to cut around the inside edge of that circle to produce our handle. And you want it to be, you know, roughly 1/2 inch wide, I guess. And it's just basically following the same shape. It doesn't need to be exactly perfect. But just cutting around there with my scissors, taking my time. To create my handle for the umbrella. So you'll be left with kind of like a horseshoe shape. And what I'm going to do now is I'm holding it, you'll see on my instructions, I say to hold it like a U shape or a smiley face. We just want to round the corners here of this right side straight edge. So again with my scissors, very simple. I'm just rounding that out so we can produce our little handle for the umbrella. So next we're going to prepare the background for our layout, and I'm using the blue cardstock from the project recipe kit. And again, I couldn't go past from the accessory paper pack. I really loved this soft apricot print that has the little mushrooms on it, but you use whatever paper that you like. We're going to trim this down and use the blue cardstock as a frame around the page. And I'm going to gut the middle of this cardstock because we can actually use that cardstock to mat our photos. And I really want you to be able to get as much out of your supplies as you can. We certainly don't need to waste it. So I'm going to bring in my 12-inch trimmer and we're going to gut the center of this cardstock. I'll just line that up to the 1 inch marking, and you can bring that blade down so that the top of the blade housing unit is in line with the top edge of your paper, because you can see you've got your little 1 inch line here, and it's not going to cut until you press down on this. So just slide it down until the top edge is in line with your cardstock. Then you can press down and just stop when the bottom edge of that blade housing unit reaches the bottom edge of the cardstock, and you can see that we're starting to cut a frame from that piece. And it's just a matter then of rotating and repeating the exact same steps. And the beauty of it now is that you can use that line on the side of the blade housing unit to line up with, you know, your previous cut. So it's a very simple technique to do. I've demonstrated this many, many times. It's one of the key elements of the 12-inch trimmer that I love, is that it's not going to cut until you press that down. So it's a great feature. Our final edge, like so. So we've removed the center because we're only going to see the tiniest amount of this cardstock. And now we can use this for our photo mats or perhaps for another project. So the next thing that we'll do is just bring back in that designer paper background. And we need to cut that down to 11.75 by 11.75. So I'm only just having, you know, it's just the smallest pop of colour behind this paper with the cardstock. And we're only just removing that small amount. I just think having a frame behind the designer paper of cardstock, it just gives a really nice finish to your layout. There we go. So we can bring that frame in, and you'll want to line it up nice and square on your cutting mat, like so. And then this piece will be layered over the top, and you just want to have that 1/8 of an inch allowance showing around the outside edge. And when you're happy, come in with your adhesive tape. I always work with repositional tape, it's my go-to. You can use whatever adhesive you like. But once you're happy with where the position is, you can start to adhere that paper down into place like so. I just tend to do a little bit at a time just so it doesn't slip, holds in place, and just keep rotating the page. Okay, so that has our background prepared. So now we can actually bring in all the little pieces that we've cut for our umbrella. And I do recommend that you position everything first before you get things stuck down. So basically you want your white strip to be underneath that first centerpiece of your umbrella. And you just want the very top, the very tip showing out there at the top, like so. And you just want to be careful that these pieces that you bring in, you want to make sure that they fit within the boundaries of your page. So that's why I just say lay everything out first before you stick anything down, because you can see there I've actually run off the page. So it's just a matter of shifting things around. I do have my umbrella on an angle, as you can see, running through the page. But we just want to make sure that those arc pieces are within the boundaries of the page. So just tilt the umbrella until you get that right. There we go. So that will be the position of our umbrella. You may want to bring that piece of the white cardstock just down a little, because you know the top of the umbrella will meet with the center of that piece. So when you're happy with everything, then you can start to adhere this all down into place. And I've just nudged mine there. It's typical, isn't it? You just get it perfect and then you move it. Okay, so when you're happy, you want to make sure, it's very easy to mess up your wavy edge at the bottom. You want to make sure that all your pieces flow nicely into each other and meet up here at the bottom. When you're happy with that, I suggest you adhere this white strip first. And I'm just going to press down on that and add a little bit of adhesive, because once that's in place, you know the rest is going to fit, okay? Because that's centered to that middle piece. So I can move those, and just with my adhesive tape, I can adhere that to the page like so. And then it's just a matter of bringing back these little pieces that you had in place and getting them stuck down. Like so. Make sure that you line up that bottom edge. To bring your pieces back together. And it's coming together nicely. So next I can come in with our little handle that we cut. And again, you just want to make sure that that fits within the boundaries of your page, centering the little white handle there. And when you're happy, you can also adhere that down into place. Now, I did add some decorative strips across the base of my umbrella. Again, this is optional. You could use one of the border stickers. You could use, you know, one of the laser cut borders that come in the embellishment pack. I actually went with the Scalloped Heart Border Maker cartridge, and I just punched my own, and also just a thin strip of light blue cardstock, just to give it, you know, that little lacy finish across the bottom. This is purely a decorative element. So I'll just slide this to the side. Now I'm using this light blue paper. This is from the Project Recipe Kit. And I've got my Border Maker cartridge as well as my Border Maker system. Don't forget that you need the Border Maker system in order to be able to use your individual cartridges. And they just slide into the punch like so, and then we can insert our paper into the paper bracket. So I'll just line that up into the arm, and we can fold that out of the way. And then it's just a matter of lining up the little nodules here of our Border Maker cartridge into the spaces of the paper bracket, and we can punch all the way along. Now the thing with the Border Maker cartridge is it's obviously not removing the border from the paper. So what I mean by that is once you've got that punched, you're going to have to trim that away from the paper. So I'm just punching all the way along. We've got lots of confetti there, so I'm just bringing my little bin and we can get rid of those. And you can see it's put the lovely scalloped heart edge to our paper, but we need to remove that as a thin strip. So I'll bring in my 12-inch trimmer. I didn't give a measurement for this. I'm probably lining it up to, I don't know, probably 3/4 of an inch on my trimmer, so it's not very wide at all. And just trimming that away like so. And I'm just using some light blue cardstock from my stash, and I just want to cut, oh look, it's probably 1/4 of an inch wide strip, so not very wide at all. And this will go at the top of that scalloped heart edge. Again, these are just decorative elements that I've included. Now, because these strips are going to be wider than our umbrella, you will need to trim them down. But basically, I've just added my scalloped heart to the bottom edge there. And then to break up that colour, I've just added the light blue thin strip to the top like so. So what I'll do is I'm going to add my adhesive to the back. I haven't taken it right to the very ends because I am going to trim those down. We'll just get that into place. And then with my scissors, I'm just going to come along freehand, it's just 2 little snips, and remove the excess there. Like so. And then I'm just going to do the same with this light blue strip that we cut from the cardstock. And that's just going to sit across the top there. And again, I just think it adds that nice little decorative element to your umbrella. Trim away that little piece of overhang. Very simple to do. And that pretty well has our umbrella completed. So now we can come in with our offcut of the blue cardstock, and we can add our photo mats, and then it's just a matter of coming in then with our embellishments. So very simple layout to achieve. Now the photo mat sizes that I have used in my sample page are 5.25 by 3.75, and that means your photos will be trimmed to 5 inches by 3.5. All of these measurements though are written down clearly in your instructions. So, and if you wanted to use a different size, that's quite okay too. So I've got my 2 photo mats. Again, we've used that from the center of that frame that we cut away, that we gutted. And it's just a matter of putting those into place where you would like them to be. You might just want to bring in my lifter there. If you even wanted to with your photos, just tuck it in under the handle a little bit so it wraps around your photos. And then I've got another one there to the base. And then I can come in later and add my photos. And I'm always usually team tilt when it comes to photos. I like to tilt my photos on the page. Just depends on the layout I'm creating, of course. You can position those as you like. And then we can have some fun with these gorgeous embellishments. Okay, so my camera battery decided to die just as I started to embellish my page. Isn't it always the way? But I'm going to walk you through what I've added to my page in the absence of the battery dying. Lucky we weren't live, that's all I can say. What I've done, I've taken these embellishments, were in the large pack embellishments. I've just layered 2 together there with foam squares, and you can see I've got a little leaf sticking out behind. I actually cut this in half. This actually had 2 leaves on the one embellishment, and I like to make my embellishments, you know, spread them out as far as I can use them to get the most out of them. So I've just cut it in half, and I've actually used the second one in behind my little layered flower here. And I've just used my fresh flower punch just to punch another little flower here to tuck in behind, as well as using a little title circle there with foam squares. And I've used one of the layered flower embellishments here over the base of the handle. So sorry about that with my camera. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why have you got flowers on the handle of your umbrella? If you've scrapbooked a long time with me, you know I'm going to tell you, if it looks cute, it doesn't need to make sense. So I just think the little flowers there looked quite pretty. We'll continue on now. I'm going to add just this little explore tab to the top of this other photo. So that can just tuck in there behind. I'll stick that in place. And I'd like to use foam squares on my title too. So I'm just going to add 2 to the back. The foam squares just lift these embellishments off the page. It helps to build dimension. Now I'm going to bring in my sticker sheet because I want to use a couple of the little flowers and love hearts from this. So I've got my little light blue one here. I'm going to work with another foam square. And I'm just going to tuck that over the top of the Explore tab here. And I'm going to add one of the blue flowers to the top of our umbrella. Here, like so. And to finish, I might just add, let's just add some of these cute little love hearts. We might go the orange love heart down here at the base. Just tuck it in there behind. And I can add the blue one to the top here. like so. So there we have it, friends. That's pretty well completed our umbrella page. You can see it's quite a simple technique, and I really do think that, you know, I think you could do some great beach layouts, vacation layouts, garden layouts, whatever you like with this. Completely up to you if you wanted to add some journaling strips, or perhaps even you could probably sneak even a smaller photo in here if you wish. That's completely up to you. So there we have it, friends. That is just one of the fun layouts that you can recreate from my instructional guide. I just want to take the time to thank you all for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going to close out my video today now with just a few sneak peeks of some of the layouts that are also included in my guide. But for now, take care, and I will see you very soon. Bye.